This practice includes shoulder work, hip work, a little bit of twisting, and it's just got a nice variety in it. So let's begin by coming to lying down with our knees bent. Extend your right arm out. Take your left hand and just place it on top of the rib. So it's just like that's just kind of guiding you here. You're getting a lot of feedback with your hand on your ribs. So lift your feet up and notice with your hands on your ribs. So you start to notice how now you've engaged the core. Your legs do not have to be straight. You can have a nice bend in your knees as a way to just kind of protect your the lumbar curve. And with your feet lifted, with your toes engaged, draw now your feet over toward your right side. So your right arm is extended out. You're taking your feet over toward the right side, and you're allowing your left shoulder to lift, the left hip lifts. So it's almost like you're turning your whole body. Now, as you get closer to the earth, you notice that you really have to work your shoulder and your core to do that. See if you can just kind of be slightly above the earth before letting your feet come all the way down to the earth, and just pause there. Bend your knees quite a bit and inhale, lift your knees up. Extend your left arm out to the side with the palm facing up. Take your right hand to your ribs. Lift your feet up. Spread your toes so that you gain a nice tone in the muscles of the legs, with your toes spreading, with your knees slightly bent. Draw over just oh so slowly. Keep on hugging the inner knees in toward each other. As you draw over, you come a little bit closer to the floor. Your right shoulder is lifting away from the floor. Your left shoulder is really working against the floor to get this powerful action of the shoulders. You draw down toward the floor, as close to the floor as possible. Now release your knees completely to the floor and pause there. Bend your knees quite a bit. And inhale, lift your knees up. Let's do that one more time. So reach your right arm out to the side, palm facing up. Lift your toes up, spread your toes. You can come towards straight legs, but by all means, you always want to see if you can honor the lumbar curve. And for most of us, that means a slight bend to the legs. Draw over to the side and go oh so slowly over to the side, as slow as possible, while the left shoulder lifts off the mat, the left side of the hip lifts off the mat. You keep on working the back of the right hand. So you're really working the shoulder, and you might get a little shaky here as you come really close to the mat. Hold that before allowing your feet to come all the way down, and you pause there. You bend your knees a little bit more so you can safely lift your knees up to come back to the center. Reach your left arm out, take your right arm to your ribs, and lift your feet up again. Spread your toes to get a nice engagement. Draw your feet over to the side. Keep on working your left arm against the mat. Really push the arm. So you're really working the shoulder, creating this nice engagement as you take your toes just a little bit to the earth. See if you can just kind of hover there just for a second. Keep the breath really strong. Continue the strength of the action. So you're really working your core muscles. You might begin to shake a little bit, and slowly release your knees down. Bend your knees quite a bit before inhaling, and lift your knees up and just pause here. And as you pause, just allow the heads of the arm bones to draw back, to open your chest really nicely. From here, inhale, lift your pelvis up. The shoulders continue to draw back, your elbows bend, so you open the chest really nicely. Today, we're working the shoulders quite a bit to strengthen the shoulders and to get a little bit more flexibility in the shoulders. Let your pelvis draw down toward the mat and roll over so that you're now on your belly. And as you lie on your belly, if you've got your blocks close by, you can grab them. And as you come to a cactus pose with your arms, in other words, your elbows are pretty much lined up with your shoulders, take a block under the left palm and the right palm. Have your palm pressing onto the block, your elbow on the floor. Press your forehead on the floor. And as you allow your elbows to stay pressing down, see about lifting your hands up off the block. Your forehead is pressing down. Your hands are lifting up. Your elbows are pressing down. Just engaging nicely. Now press your palms back to the block and just turn your head to one side and just pause there. This action, if it feels like the block is a little bit too high for you, you can, of course, take your hands down. But this action of elevating the palm just allows you to kind of get a different action in your shoulders here. Now, take your head back to center, press your forehead down, keep your elbows down, spread your fingers, and inhale, lift your hands away from the blocks. Just enjoy your breath here. See if you can expand your breath as you spread your fingers. And notice it's not only the shoulder action, you start to feel all the way through the thoracic spine, the engagement. Release your hands down and turn your head to the opposite direction. And just pause there. And just a slight elevation, like we're doing of our hands, just causes us to tune in to different muscular actions. And inhale, come to your forearms. And with your fingers spread, with your forearms pressing, pull your elbows in toward each other. Now pull the elbows slightly back so that the heart reaches forward. Now turn the right hand as if you're trying to reach toward the left corner of the mat. So the forearm is at an angle. Come to your right side. And as you just pause here with your forearm down, you're on your side. Inhale, lift your pelvis up off the mat. Exhale, take your pelvis down. Inhale, lift your pelvis up. Exhale, down. Add your arm. Inhale, lift your arm up, lift your pelvis up, take your arm over your head. Exhale, take your arm down, take your pelvis down. Inhale, lift your pelvis up, reach your arm up and over. Exhale, come down. One more time. Inhale, lift your pelvis up and your arm, reach up and over. And exhale, down. Come to the opposite arm, the left arm, and you can just roll to your side. I just want to face the camera. As you press your forearm down, press your left foot to the mat very firmly. Press down and lift your pelvis up. Now, if that's not working for you, use your top leg to help you out. See if the top leg will help you lift your pelvis up and down, whatever form you want to do this. Inhale, lift up, exhale, down. Inhale, now combine the arm again. You can keep one foot in front, one foot behind, just so that you can get your pelvis to lift up, all right? We'll combine this action with our arms. Inhale, lift your right arm up and over. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift up, over, and down. And one more time. Inhale, lift up, over, and down. Let's come to all fours position on the mat. Tuck your toes under. Draw your pelvis back toward your heels. And just soften here. Release your head down. Keep your shoulders lifted. Keep a nice engagement in your feet. And breathe in deep. And breathe out long. Just pause here. Now make your way to the front of the mat, however that works for you, through downward dog or whatever. Come to the front of the mat and come to Tadasana. This goal of 10 times a day, just taking our attention to the breath, just stimulates the brain, moves the prana. It just takes you to a new rhythm, a new fullness in the breath. Now, with your eyes bright, inhale, take your arms up and reach them back. Exhale, come down to your forward fold. Place your hands alongside your ankles and step your right leg back. Take your hands right above your knees. Come to that cactus pose that we were in before. So with your heart nice and open, draw your elbows slightly forward and your hands slightly back. So it's almost like when the hands were on the blocks. You get this nice opening of the chest. Now twist. So take your elbow to the left knee as you twist and come back to center. And again, right elbow to the left knee and back. And one more time, twist, tap down, and back. Release your hands down, step your back foot forward, place both hands to the low back and lift up. Reach your arms up and just take your hands nice and wide apart. So as you receive the in-breath, you get this fullness to the upper chest. Exhale, release down and place your hands alongside your ankles to take your left leg back. Take your hands right above your knee. Pause here. Take the arms in this cactus pose. Take your elbows slightly forward, your hands slightly back. Keep your fingers spread. Twist. Take your left elbow toward your right knee and back. And twist and back and twist and come back. Release your hands down to the mat. Step your back foot forward. Place both hands to your low back and rise up. Just pause in Tadasana again. Come to a lunge position, a high lunge position. Grab one block and with your right foot forward and with your left foot back in this high lunge position, take the block behind you. So you're pressing your fingertips into the block as you just open your chest nicely. So the left foot is back, the right foot is forward. You're pressing your fingertips into the block. Keep this engagement with the elbows bent. Draw the elbows in toward each other and draw your chest toward your front knee. Inhale, lift up, and do that 2 more times. Keep your back heel lifted. Keep your front thigh descending. Now, let's offer your heart toward your front knee. Inhale, lift up. And one more time. Exhale, draw down. Inhale, lift up. And release your back foot forward and release the blocks. So it seems like you're not doing that much, just pressing your fingertips into a really light block. But you start to notice how it starts to tone the upper arms nicely as you do that. So let's do that same action on the opposite side. Grab your block again. With your left foot forward, your right foot back. Take your block behind you, bend your elbows, press your fingertips nice and firmly in toward the block. Bend your front knee, but lift the back heel. So you stay really nice and open in this lunge pose. Draw your heart down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, draw down. Press into the blocks to inhale, lift up. And last time, press all the fingertips into the block. To inhale, lift up. Step your back foot forward and release your block down. All right, as we stand in this nice wide stance and interlace our fingers behind our back. So as you press the knuckles of the interlaced fingers toward the sacrum, hug your elbows in, bend your knees just slightly. If you have a lot of pulling sensation to your outer ankles, you've gone a little bit too far. So step in slightly, pull your feet in toward each other, and allow your heart to just soften down. All the work that we've done with the shoulders, maybe you're noticing a slight difference, one side compared to the other. Allow a sort of softness here. We just allow an ease here in this pose we call Prasarta Padottanasana with fingers interlaced behind our back. We have this nice ease in the breath, a nice softening as we come to the earth. Keep pulling the feet in toward each other. Release the interlaced fingers. Have the palms on your low back. Bend your knees more to inhale and lift yourself up out of the pose. Very nice. Let's come to a triangle pose and goddess warrior here, just to open the chest here before coming down to the mat. So turn your right toes out, sweep your arms up, open your chest. All the work we do with the shoulders should open the upper chest really nicely as you come down to your form of the pose. Keep your back legs steady and strong. Keep your lifted arm very engaged. Keep a nice length of the underside ribs. Inhale, root down to rise up, bend the front knee, reach back, stretch the opposite side of the ribs. Just get this nice length here as you draw the upper arm up and over. And inhale, come to two straight legs. As you turn your right toes more parallel to the mat, the left toes turn out. Draw over to triangle pose again. Strong engagement of the legs, hugging in toward each other. You get this nice opening in your triangle pose. This nice engagement of the legs gives you freedom in the upper body. Allow the breath to enjoy its freedom as well. On the next in-breath, root down to lift yourself up and bend your front knee. Reach back. Slowly take your arm up, take your gaze up. And exhale, release your hand. Come now to heel toe your feet in toward each other to come to Tadasana and pause. Close your eyes for a moment. Let this be another opportunity to take your attention to your breath. And now as you release out of the Tadasana to come to lie on the floor, lie on the floor, supine with your knees bent, and just pause there. We started with our arms open, chest nice and open. So take your hands nice and wide apart and your palms facing up, and just pause there. Draw your right knee up toward your chest. Just hold on to the right knee with the right hand and reach your right knee out to the right side. Draw your right knee in this circular manner, clockwise or counterclockwise. Just kind of lubricating the pelvic area. And move it the opposite direction. And release down. Same thing with the opposite leg. Draw your left knee up, your left hand to the knee or shin, and just move the leg. It's kind of getting this nice rotation to open the pelvis. And counterclockwise or whatever direction is opposite for you, just as a preparation for a Sukhi Randrasana. Place that foot to the floor, left foot to the floor, and take the right ankle to the outer left knee. Now that your hips are nice and open, see about drawing your left thigh a little bit closer to you so you get this nice opening of the pelvic area. You can take your strap around your hamstring, the left leg, or interlace your fingers. Just pause there. And even though this pose appears so passive, your action is to take your right knee a little bit further from your right ribs, to keep the toes on both feet there very active. So even though it's static in the visible actions, It's very dynamic in the engagement that you're giving to the legs here. You can release yourself out of the pose and come to the opposite side. Take your left ankle to the knee and draw the thigh in. Just pause there. And with that pause, just get a nice opening by reaching your left knee slightly further from your ribs, by engaging the full leg, by spreading the toes, by creating what feels like a stronger lumbar curve, reaching the thigh back, the right thigh back. Release your feet down to the mat and draw your knees in toward your heart. Just take your hands right at your kneecaps as if you're trying to grow your thigh bone by lengthening from your hip to your knees. Lengthen as if you could lengthen that bone as you press the kneecaps into the palms of your hands. Now, with the palms of your hands pressing back, just notice how that action of imagining that your thigh bone is growing and your arms are really active. You're really pressing your kneecaps back. Notice how that enhances your lumbar curve. Those actions give your back strength, your lower back much more strength. Just rock side to side as you're doing those actions. So if the rocking motion takes your attention away from those strong actions, then stay right where you are. But if you can move side to side and keep those actions, by all means, just enjoy this nice flow of prana all the way down to the pelvic areas. As you just take your attention to one cheek and then the opposite, just allowing yourself to massage the muscles of your buttocks. Make your way back to the center position and extend one leg, then the other leg, and extend your arms with your palms facing up. And this is yet another opportunity to take your attention to your breath. Yet allow the ease of the posture. You just follow the path of your breath. You feel how it lifts and opens the chest on the in breath, and how a long exhale breath through the nose allows you to feel this full body surrender on the mat. Allow this time to assimilate the actions of your practice. Enjoy your Shavasana. Namaste.